amanda mwatemwa mu lusaka ya flat roof nga mwabuuka olukyero ni swimming pool kuli amashani amadoji amahilux amamustang amajagwa bagayi baleshita manye tapiwa kuvala munga chinyawo ndiye bwanji. Welcome to Zambia, what a day. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I want to address something today as we start this podcast with George in the background. Let's talk about this, George. I know the history that exists about Jonah in the Bible was that he was swallowed by a fish. But I need you to understand that I'm not Jonah from the Bible. I'm literally just a guy who's living thousands of years later. So I don't get why you always have to put this fish tank here to mock me.
No, I think it works with the ambience.
The fish.
Yeah, it's ambience. It doesn't give you a certain, classy. Like rich people have got fish tanks in their houses.
It makes noise. I hear the water in the background. That's the ambience?
Yes. It's all part of the vision.
The ambience is maliciousness.
I
don't think. I think we should be a bit more professional and fair, guys.
I think I worked hard to make sure those fish came back.
So the fish even had to come back. You had to get a big one. That big fish there.
The other ones, I don't know what happened. They started eating each other.
And it's coming my way.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Buyoya. And there's a lot for us to talk about today. I'm just trying out the effects. But what's coming up? Well, the UN Rapporteur is making headlines. She's been like the talking point of the country for quite a while now. It's interesting, and I think that it's good for us to be hearing more about her because she is here to evaluate our freedom of opinion and freedom of expression. So we should talk while she's here. Cholera in Chilelabomwe, it's reaching a critical point, and we need to wake up. We need to be alert. I hate to say it, but I think we need to now start panicking. Chongwe mayor and councillors have been suspended for 90 days. It's not the first time something like this is happening. Maybe in Chongwe it is, but they're giving out land that they shouldn't, according to the allegations that are present at the moment. Let's get into it. The United Nations UN Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Opinion, Irene Khan, has emphasized that freedom of expression is essential for political participation. During her visit to the first Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly in Lusaka, Ms. Khan highlighted the critical link between a parliament that upholds freedom of expression and the role of its freedom of this freedom in promoting political engagement. Ms. Khan expressed her hope that the report of her visit, once adopted, will serve as a tool to assess the state of freedom in Zambia. Freedom of expression and opinion.
The United Nations Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression and Opinion, Irene Khan, has continued her mission in Zambia. Today, at the National Assembly, she had a meeting in Amusa Mwanamwambwa Committee Room with the first Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Malungo Chisangano.
Freedom of expression, my mandate, is of course vital for political participation. So in a sense, there is a symbiotic relationship between Parliament that seeks to protect freedom of expression and freedom of expression that seeks to protect political participation. Because it is as important for democracy as it is for development. It is as important for elections as for education. So across the spectrum of the human rights system, freedom of opinion and expression is extremely valuable.
Worth noting is that through the legislative functions of the National Assembly of Zambia, enacted the Constitution which guarantees certain freedoms under the Bill of Rights, and specifically freedom of expression under Article number 20.
Ms. Khan also had another meeting with the Committee on Media and Information.
I should, however, mention, sir, that I enjoy full diplomatic immunity in Zambia, and therefore, of course, I have always, according to ethical rules, we always speak the truth.
So for you to appreciate the milestones this government is making, it is paramount for you to see just a very short footage of where we are coming from the government of the Patriotic Front. Therefore, the short footage would depict issues that has to do with freedom of the media, which is press freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to do with political gatherings, as at before the elections.
In a civil servant also came all the way from Luapula province with his wife to attend the funeral of a beloved one, but nearly lost his thumb.
On Friday, she is expected to sum up her report. Best Jerry, Diamond News.
So the thing is, while she's been here, so much has happened, and I believe that she's a professional. She's got the legal background, and so because she's got a legal background, she knows what she's doing, and I've seen almost everyone trying to manipulate this woman. The people on the side of the government, trying to get her on their side. The people from the opposition trying to get her on their side. But I also understand that she's been talking to neutral people. I mean, people who can be neutral to the best of their ability. And these are sort of going to present a neutral perspective of what's happening in the country. Let me say, though, that there's something that happened that I found really cringe. It was the minister of Copperbelt province who was talking to her. I want to play you the audio of of him talking to her, and he said something that I found a bit cringe because she's a diplomat, So listen to this.
Background as a province. At some point, my province was referred to. It was nicknamed Beirut, because of the situation and the way things were done. There was a lot of violence, a lot of violation of human rights. People were living in fear.
So I know it was innocent. It was innocent on his part to say that, but it was just a bit cringe because one of the issues that is happening at the moment, especially in leadership and in the media space, is it's impolite and rude to refer to a scenario of conflict as the norm, right? For you, for example, to say, I'm about to do the same thing. So I'm not going to do the same thing, but it was a bit cringe. And the rapporteur seemed uncomfortable, but I see she was opening up a bit more at Parliament as compared to when she met the minister, because she was talking to divergent views, and I think that that's what was happening there. But I believe that her report is going to be neutral in the context of her getting the actual facts of what's happening, and I don't think there's going to be much influence from the political leaders and the way they're skewing things. Because you have to look at this in a certain context as well, that Zambia is quite polarized when it comes to the political space. The opposition and the government are not exactly the best of friends. And to be fair, that's probably the case in a lot of countries around the world, if not all. And the only challenge is that when you look at Zambia, there's very rare circumstances when we come together and speak one voice and just literally speak in the interest of the public. Let's go to Chililabomwe, where the District Commissioner Precious Njekwa has described the cholera situation in the district as pathetic. And she's warning that more cases are expected to be recorded as the outbreak spreads. So in the last 24 hours, the district has recorded 9 new cholera cases. That is bringing the total to 58. At the moment, 31 patients have been hospitalized and are in hospital. 27 have been discharged, but 4 people have lost their lives since the outbreak started. The authorities are working to establish a cholera treatment center at Kasumbalesa Health Post that is due to the high number of cases that are being reported in the border area. Let's take a look at this.
A crisis is unfolding in Achilabombe, where the cholera outbreak has now reached 58 reported cases, and health officials fear the worst is yet to come. Health officials say 9 new suspected cases were recorded in the last 24 hours alone, with 31 patients still admitted. So far, the outbreak has claimed 4 lives, a grim reminder of the disease's deadly nature.
Yes, last evening we had 33 cases in our facilities admitted. So the numbers are not going down. We have continued, the numbers have continued to increase. So the situation is terrible. Hence calling for this stakeholders meeting so that we can put our heads together. I think having said that,
efforts are now underway to set up a cholera treatment center at Kasumbalesa Health Post as authorities rush to contain the spread.
And instead, we have our clinic space here there, which requires a bit of attention, and we are going to work on it so that we manage the cases from here. So a few things have been done already, but not enough to actually open that. So we are hoping that probably by tomorrow we can actually open that and manage all our patients from here.
But for many in Achilabombe, the warnings are not being taken seriously. Kobelt Minister Elisha Matambo, who toured the border, says a worrying number of residents are acting as though nothing is wrong.
Even when I was passing, I could tell that the place was very dirty around. Yes, as a minister for the province, my recommendation is that those restaurants which where they are cooking here and fecal matter is somewhere here, I think those they have to be closed temporarily. So I think we need to act swiftly in trying to stop this disease. Seen shallow wells behind there, and it's very clear that our people have been using the water from the shallow wells. And I think you saw next to the shallow wells there was a sewer coming out.
Love Mosondash for Diamond News in Achilabombe.
Ndipo cholera itivuta. Hii disease yativuta. It's very difficult. And I wish that we could deal with it once and for all. It is frustrating. I don't know who keeps texting me and my phone keeps buzzing. I can't put it on silent. It is on silent right now. That's why it keeps buzzing. I've done this thing, but I hope it's not making noise in the headphones. But anyway, you were saying?
Option that you can actually make it when you take it to silent, it doesn't vibrate.
Okay. I'll do that, I guess, after the podcast. But anyway, yeah. Cholera, we were talking about how cholera is a big issue and we need to find a permanent solution. We need to find permanent solutions to some of these problems. But in the interim, get fewer people or no lives to be lost altogether. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Nkombo, has announced the immediate suspension of Chongwe Mayor Christopher Havenzu and all councillors for a period of 3 months following allegations of illegal land allocations. The minister explained that the suspension was in line with Section 57, Subsection 1 of the Local Government Act number 2 of 2019. And he says that the government under President Hakainde Hichilema's leadership remains committed to promoting development while upholding the rule of law. Nkombo also stated that all local authorities must adhere to strict land administration laws. Let's take a look at this.
Following the allegations and the disorderly manner and the illegalities of land alienation at Chongwe Municipal Council, contrary to the provisions of the Spirit of Urban and Regional Planning Act number 3 of 2015, I hereby invoke powers that are vested in me as Minister of Local Government and Rural Development as prescribed under Section 56(1) of the Local Government Act number 2 of 2019 of the laws of Zambia, and do suspend all the councillors, including His Worship the Mayor of Chongwe, from performing their functions as councillors effective today, 29th January 2025, for a period of 90 days. Furthermore, I have now appointed Mr. Charleston Hamuliata, a public officer as local government administrator, to oversee the operations of Chongwe Municipal Council.
You know, one of the most porous and corrupt aspects of our lives in Zambia has got to be the land issues. People experience hardships when it comes to accessing land, but also the reality that there's a lot of corruption there. There's a lot of corruption there. And it's important to once in a while look at that part of our society and fix those challenges. So as investigations go on, I think the people expect that it should reach a logical conclusion and they should know some of the decisions that have been taken by the government. And, you know, it's these people responsible for administering development, and the shoddy works that we see and, you know, steps being skipped are what result in the challenges that we witness. And that's kind of similar to what you're seeing in Nalolo, where the town council is expressing strong dissatisfaction with the ongoing renovations at one of the rural health clinics. It was damaged by roof collapse in 2023. And despite the ongoing repairs, the council has raised concerns about the substandard quality of the work so far, including the roofing, painting, and the tile installation. Let's take a look at this.
In 2023, the rooftop of Kataba Rural Health Clinic in Nalolo district of Western Province was blown off by the strong wind, and slightly over 600,000 kwacha was approved for the renovation of the facility and was supposed to be completed in September last year. Unfortunately, apart from the project taking long, the Nalolo Town Council is not satisfied with the work that has been done.
The current works that he has done, when it comes to finishes, are not to our satisfactory. So we're unable to certify for these works. We carried out this monitoring of the project so that we see what the contractor has done, so that we prepare the final payment. But our findings on site are not satisfactory. The finishes, the painting, and the way the roof was done is not a good job. So we've instructed the contractor to come back on site and redo the works.
The Member of Parliament for Nalolo constituency, Imangawa Munyima, also visited the site and was not impressed.
So far, the works that have been done, unfortunately, are shoddy works. We expect the contractor to do better works. Hopefully, this should be treated as an emergency, because to resolve this issue, we're using emergency fund. So I'm not happy with the works here, and the contractor must immediately engage with the council engineers to see how they can resolve and redo some of the works, particularly the roofing remains vulnerable to being blown off.
In response, this is what the contractor said.
There are a lot of works which I can't mention at the moment. The best will be that the way Honorable has given instruction, I think within 2 months, these works can be completed. And all where they have pointed out was there are some mistakes, we are going to redo those works.
Meanwhile, the staff at the facility have stated that the work which has taken long has inconvenienced their operations as space is limited. Reporting for Diamond News, Christine Musole.
So they're demanding that the work be redone. It's them to do all of this. It's literally their job. So the people that should be complaining are the members of the community while they get the work done. The contractor was in there as well, being talked to. But I mean, the works even on video look ridiculous in this day and age. And that's the reality of a lot of places in our country that are experiencing this kind of shoddy works. But that's roughly what's going on in our country at the moment. We continue to give you updates. But just a quick glance with what's going on in the DRC, where the March 23, which is a rebel group popularly referred to as M23, has been in conflict with the government of the DRC. M23 took over a Democratic Republic of Congo town of Goma, and the DRC government is working towards reclaiming that part of their country. All of this has happened in the last 7 days, and there's been an escalation. 13 soldiers of the South African Defense Forces have been killed, and yet they were not actively part of the conflict. But according to how I understand it, they were in a pathway between the M23 and the DRC. A ceasefire has since been called, and they are not under attack. The South African soldiers hoisted the white flag, and they're not part of the conflict because they're on a peacekeeping mission. So losing that many troops was quite unfortunate. But South Africa has warned Rwanda, because Rwanda is currently accused of being the ones sponsoring this conflict, sponsoring M23 to create the conflict that's happening in the DRC. There's one interview I watched where President Paul Kagame was talking about this. He didn't exactly decline supporting M23, but he said we should also look at the larger context of what is going on there. So we hope that a logical conclusion is going to be reached with this. SADC is expected to meet today, and these are leaders of SADC who are expected to meet in Zimbabwe. And the chair of SADC, who's the Zimbabwean president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, is going to preside over the deliberations where an extraordinary summit of heads of state is being held to try and find a solution to what is going on in the DRC at the moment. There were troops that are part of the decisions made by SADC, and we know that some of these were actually in Mozambique, trying to fix some of the challenges that were there in Cabo Delgado. And so I believe they're trying to find a solution as well to what is going on in the DRC. At the moment, there are troops from Malawi, Tanzania, South Africa, and Angola who are fighting to restore peace in the area. And there's also United Nations troops that are part of this exercise. But the active conflict that is there right now is between the DRC soldiers and the M23 soldiers who are reportedly backed by the Rwandan government. But anyway, we'll see what's going to happen, and we'll keep on updating you on the latest updates. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Buyoya, and this is where we wrap it up. Thank you.